Hi friends, this is Melanie with fairystampland.com. I'm coming to you today to share with you this Heartfelt Creations card. I created this card for the 2022 Heartfelt Creations Design Team competition, and it helped me get into the semifinals. And when it went live, I had a lot of rave reviews from people, and I had multiple requests to do a video. So I am here to share with you how I created this card. So I'm going to do a similar card today. It's almost exact. The only difference is I'm going to change the orientation to do a 5x7 card so that the butterfly is not hanging over the edge. I want the second card to fit into a 5x7 gift box. It's for a recipient, a special recipient. It's actually a special request birthday card for a lady that has requested it for her mother. Her mother loves the color blue, so we're going to change the background color to a blue to coordinate with all of the rest of the colors here. So it'll be just slightly different, but you will still get to see all of the same exact techniques that I have used. So I'm going to set this aside, and we are just going to start from the beginning with a basic 5x7 card base. I have used just regular, actually for my card bases, I really like to use the Heartfelt Creations Deluxe Flower Shaping card or paper. It's a very thick paper, and it's very sturdy for card bases. It also holds up really well for any of your white layers, especially when they're die cut layers, as well as card bases. And for the inside, because I am doing this as a gift, of course, with this one, I don't know if I even, see, I didn't even finish the inside of this card. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and finish the inside of this card since it is being given as a gift. I just cut a piece of paper here that coordinates just a tiny bit smaller. I think I did a 1/4 inch smaller all the way around. And for the paper in this card, I use the Cottage Garden Collection by Heartfelt Creations. It's a beautiful paper collection of blues. I thought this would be very pretty for her mother's color palette of blues. And so we're going to go ahead and just attach this real quick. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges with Night Sky. I'm going to use my Stack and Store daubers, and I'm just going to go just over this really, really gently, just to give it a tiny, I don't like a ton of ink. I like just a little hint of ink on the edges, and I like the control that these daubers give you. Just rubbing the tip, the edge of the dauber where it's the fullest there. So I'm going to actually do this to this part and also to the background of the happy birthday die that we're going to use here on the inside. I know this isn't very interesting, but I wanted to show you exactly what I'm doing here. So this just kind of gives it a hint of the same coordinating color all the way throughout the card. We use this also on the front of the card as well. I probably should have done a little bit of this ahead of time, but I have done a lot of the parts of this ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and use just a little bit of Dry's Clear Glue. Here, and I think I'm going to put I want to put the light on the bottom because she'll be writing on the bottom. Okay. And then for this, I am using the Ironwork Sentiments by Heartfelt Creations. These are really pretty for both inside or on the front of your cards. And I have die cut this twice in both silver and white, which we will be layering. This I'm going over more of a flat instead of on the edge because I'm giving it a little bit more of a darker hue. I want this to stand up. I want this to be a little darker than this, just so it stands out a little bit more. This is a darker paper than this one. I chose a lighter paper for this one, but I want this to stand out a little bit more than that background paper. But the customer said, I just need it to be blue. My mother loves blue and she loves butterflies, so my wish is her command. I want to make her mama happy. That just warms my heart to make someone's mama happy. So we're going to make it happen. You see how that just stands out? It just helps it pop off the page. Now for this, if you notice on the original card, I have used this silver and the white. So I'm going to pull that into the inside of the card just to give it a coordinating feel when she opens the card. So we're going to glue these, and I am going to take my time here a little bit just because I want this to glue nicely. This fine tip applicator that Heartfelt sells along with the dry clear glue, you can add the fine tip on to your purchase, is so handy. I do all my gluing with this fine tip. It's perfect for all your gluing needs. And this does actually dry clear, just like the label says. So if it comes out a little bit, it doesn't show, which is nice. And if you're worried there's too much on it, there is another trick I can show you. If you think there's like too much, you got too much going in an area, which I don't really feel like I have too much here, but I'll show you. Let's just say I've got too much glue right there. You can just tap it off on your finger. And then offset this when you're gluing just to one side or the other. On this piece, I always just offset to the right unless there's a specific reason, which later there will be on the card, but right now I'm just going to the right. And that just gives a shadow of silver. And when you're designing your cards, feel free to exchange this. Try the silver on top or use the gold. The Luxe Silver and the Luxe Gold are both great options for this. And then glue this down to your backer piece. And here, while I'm thinking about it, before I get blue on something, let's put that up. Whenever I'm watching the Heartfelt videos, I always see that they leave the ink open. And I think to myself, oh my goodness, Emmylou, you're going to end up getting one of those gorgeous samples in the ink. It's like, sweetheart, I worry for you. All those gorgeous design team samples. I've never seen her do it, though. She's perfect. She never does that. But knowing me, I would be the one to do it because I can be clumsy. So I would probably get the most beautiful sample and I would end up dropping it in the ink that was left open on my table. So yeah, I'm going to try to close my ink pads. I'm not a pro. So we'll get this all done, and then we'll put it right here on our background. And look how pretty that's going to be. Just move it over you have a tiny little bit of breathing room with dry clear glue. It does glue. I find it catches pretty quickly, but you do have a little bit of movability, a little bit more than you do, let's say, with your glue gun. You know, with your glue gun, it's pretty instant if you have it on the high heat setting. But when you use the dry as clear, you do have a little movability time. I do like that it dries a little faster than a regular tacky glue though. But it's not going anywhere once it dries. So that's the beauty of it. You know, some of the cheaper tacky glues, they're, you know, they're good for a while, but they're not permanent. There we go. There's your pretty inside. So your card will be finished. So now on the front, let's make sure our writing's going the right direction. There we go. And we will attach, oh, actually, let's do our inking. I put the ink up and I almost forgot. Okay. All right, let me make sure the direction is right again, because I'm known for putting it upside down. Matter of fact, the first piece I cut was upside down. All right. Make sure my card's right side up. And I like my card fronts to be completely covered. I don't like the white border. For some reason, it's just my personal preference. I like it to be edge to edge, solid color. I like it to have a solid border, rather than a white border, in other words. So that's just my personal preference. So I'm going to sit this aside for a few moments, and we're going to get out the next step. We are going to use the Fancy Flourish border. Now, this is a limited edition die. I have not checked to see if it's still available on the website, but I believe it is, and it is only while supplies last. So if this is something you see that you really, really like, I would head over to the blog, check it out. It's HCD2/7403. You can put that in the search box and it will come up, or search the Fancy Flourish border die. It is a beautiful die set. This is what it looks like finished. And I've got two sets here, but this is the finished product. And it is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous both ways. It can, you know, be used as just a border die. It is just stunning. So if you haven't gotten that one yet, I wouldn't walk, I would run over and grab that one. So for this, I get a lot of questions about what die cut machine do you use? How do you get all those little itty bitty pieces out? You know, when you're using the thick paper, especially the flower shaping paper that's really thick, and it's, you know, how in the world do you get all those little itty bitty pieces to come out perfect every time? And matter of fact, when these cards showed, I had a lot of new subscribers and new friend requests, and a lot of them messaged me privately and asked me those questions. I even had a few people ask me what machine I bought, and they went out and bought my machine, the machine I use, because of it. So I just wanted to go over what I use in the plate system. And I am using a Gemini Junior. You also can get the Gemini full size, the regular Gemini. And for intricate dies, I do use the metal adapter plate. I find it makes my life a whole lot easier. So for this die, it comes in 3 parts. All I did was simply tape these parts together. I attached a piece of tape here, here, and then I did one on the side just to make sure that these pieces here and here just stayed lined up together. And then I cut into my metal mat. And then I cut into a cutting plate. And then the Gemini comes with a milky plastic plate, a magnetic mat, and a clear cutting plate. And what I usually do for the intricate dies is I run it through once, then I turn it over, and I run it through a second time. And usually, even for the most intricate dies, that is all I need. Once I get it through the second time, I simply just pull up this metal, and I can see everything there is already cut. So I don't have to move the die ever. I can see everything is cut before I even, lift up and look at it or take the sandwich apart. And I mean, 9 out of 10 times it's perfect. So, every now and then 1 or 2 will be missing, and, maybe I will, slant it sideways like that and try it one more time, but very rarely. I mean, usually it cuts the first time, but I just wanted to show you that little tidbit of information for those that might be having that question as well. So for these, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to offset, but this time we want these to close in the middle. In other words, we want these to line up really securely in the middle. So when we offset these, we're going to offset them so that the silver peeks out on the edges. So this way we're going to offset to the left, and this one we will offset to the right. And that way, when these come together, it's going to be white to white. So we're going to have a silver line here, and we're going to have a silver line out here. And these have some nice thick areas to glue, so it makes your gluing so much easier. You don't need as much. Your top and bottom are going to be lined up evenly. And you're just going to have that silver line along the side, and everything else is going to be glued down. See, and you'll have that silver halo in the background. Easy peasy. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Except this one's a little easier than that birthday one was, because it's got everything isn't so as intricate. These little pieces in here are just for good measure. You probably don't even need them, but just want to make sure everything stays down nice and sturdy. So I'm just hitting the thickest areas, the easy ones. I'm going to just turn this around just because I'm right-handed. Get it down, and then I'm just going to line it up, top and bottom. Alrighty. And just press it down, making sure it's not showing on top and bottom. And you see now when it goes together, it will fit better. See that? Because it doesn't have the silver along in here. So there you go. Okay, now on this piece, we are going to add dimensional glue or adhesive. I use these little mini dimensionals by Stampin' Up. So we're just going to put these everywhere. Okay, here we go. Now we're at the last couple. I sure hope I was able to speed this up for you so that you didn't have to sit through all that. Okay, I'm going to put this little trellis part down towards the bottom. I think that would be the prettiest. Let's see here. Let's see. I have to look at this here. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Give that a good press there. Look how pretty that is. Get these little guys off my table. Okay. Still going the right direction. Okay, let me set this aside for a second. Okay, the next step we're going to be doing, we're going to be bringing in the large floral butterfly and the large floral butterfly die. Now with the large floral butterfly stamp, it is a very large stamp. So what I have done is I have stamped this with cobalt archival ink with a stamp platform. That way I could ink it several times to make sure I got all of the detail that I needed. Now, because we're going to be covering this up with multiple layers of this die, because this die comes with all of these extra little layers here, because we're going to be doing that, I also stamped an extra body, and we're going to be fussy cutting this out and using this separately on the little guy here in just a little bit. So the other layers that I have cut out is I cut out a base layer, which he's going to be sitting on. And then I cut out a silver and a white detailed layer, which we are going to overlap just like we did all of the other layers that are silver and white. And we're going to be putting that on top of here. And then we're going to be fussy cutting him out and putting him on top of there so we don't lose the detail of the butterfly's body. So let's get started with these steps. Now we're feeling like we're getting into the nitty-gritty, the fun part. So for this background, we're going to do the same as we did with the other blues. This background we're going to leave as is, and we are actually going to ink this guy here so that anytime I stamp something like this, and we'll see this with the flowers too, I like to ink the edges because like when the stamp is just a hair off right around the edge, you can see that little extra white. And that is gonna, when we put that up against this color, by darkening that, you're gonna be able to see this pop off of that blue just a little bit better. So that's what I did in my original. So I'm going to take this and with my dauber, same as before, except this time on white, I am going to ink this little guy into the white just a little bit. And we're going to go all the way around. I love how the blue just kind of, it really adds a little pretty detail to the, because this that I stamped it in cobalt, but I'm inking the edges in night sky. It's just a little bit lighter than the cobalt. And it's a really pretty contrast. Feel free to push the wing out of the way while you're inking. And you can go in as far as you want. This is a personal preference here. You can go as little or as much. I mean, you can actually just do this if you just want just that little stamped portion done, you know, the white on the edges. If you just want to fill that in and not look like you actually inked it, you know, if you're just wanting to do that, you could do that. And people wouldn't realize it's even inked. You're just filling in where, you know, that little white halo is around. If that's the look that you like, you could do that. I like the little, you know, the contrast of the light, the lighter ink. But either way is fine, and I use both techniques at different times. Both are, you know, equally beautiful. Here the body really doesn't matter because, like I said, we're going to cover that up and use the other one. So I didn't really worry about that. What is that right there? Oh, it's a piece of tape. That's where he was taped down to the die cut machine. There's a little extra tape right there. Here I'm holding the back wing down again so I don't smudge it. I don't want a huge mark across it. This is nice when the corner of your dauber can get in there. It's nice to have the triangle part of the dauber when you're trying to get into the smaller sections. Like I said, most of that inside part's not going to show anyways. I just like to finish it. And in the original, I didn't even ink the wing or the antenna. I just left it as is. Trying to get it a little more even. Remember, you always can add more. You can't take it away. Yeah. Okay, let's pull his head back up there. Now, if you wanted, you could ink this one as well. In my original, I did not ink the background one. I did ink this one. And I did attach these two. You don't have to attach these two. You could have them separate. You also could put a vellum layer in there, like you could put vellum instead of the silver, or you could put a vellum in between the two. There's so many options with the butterfly die. So, I didn't realize that was off screen. I'm sorry about that. So there's just so many options with the butterfly die. So I think that's just about good. Yeah. Now here, let's go ahead and fussy cut him. ink him the same way as we did the rest of his body, or his wings, and there we go. See that? Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and glue these guys. So you guys will have to tell me in the messages below if you guys have this butterfly die. Have you made any cards with it? I would love to see your creations with it. I actually have 2 Facebook groups, Melanie Stamps on Facebook. There's a Melanie Stamps group. There's also Fairy Stampland group. You can see all my creations at both of those. You can actually post your creations on the Melanie Stamps group. If you want to show your cards using the butterfly, I'd love to see them. Or feel free to send me a friend request on Facebook or Instagram. On Instagram, you can find me at Melanie Smith Stamps. Just search for me there and follow along. Send me a message. I'd love to see your work. Okay, we're going to offset this to the right, just the same as we did the others. Just slightly. Just a little bit. Doesn't need to be a lot. Okay. So let's see how we're looking now. Gonna see that there. See it all come together now. You see, we want this to fit into a 5x7 box. And this card base is 5x7. So we're going to lay that there. And this will be here. So next, we will be creating our flowers. But why don't we go ahead and glue our layers here together so our butterfly is actually complete. So we'll go ahead and glue him down all the way. I'm going to go ahead and leave his antenna loose. Okay. And when you're using the flower shaping paper, like I used here with the white, it makes this now such a sturdy, you know, because this is just regular scrapbook paper, this bottom piece. You know, it's not cardstock. I got it from the flower pack. I mean, the pad of paper. It's a little piece of tape. So, but by using this flower shaping paper, it just makes this so sturdy. And I just love that. I just love it. So here I'm just going to attach the body. We can bend up the wings a little bit. And you can actually bend them a little while you're holding the body down if you want. I don't do it too much, but just a little. We're going to be loading them up here in a minute, so just a little bit. Okay. Body over just a little bit. Then we're going to be attaching our body back on there. And that's going to bring Mr. Butterfly to life. And I just think that brings him completely alive. Doesn't that make him special? There he is. Okay. All right. So we will set him aside and we will start making our flowers. Now, to start with the flowers, what I have done is stamped these floral, I used the floral butterfly accents, and I just used this one stamp here, and I stamped these out, and I have colored them with some water-based markers. In my originals, my original card, I used all Zig Clean color real brush markers. Now, I could not find my light blue marker that I used in the original, and the only ones I had were really dark, and I didn't want to lose the light-dark contrast. So I went ahead and went with a Stampin' Write marker, because this was the right color that I wanted to use. I also went ahead and changed over to a Stampin' Write marker for the stems and leaves, and I found this actually much easier because of the fine tip on this marker. For doing these stems, these really thin stems, this made it so much faster and more controllable than the liquid watercolors. So I will probably do this from now on for this, because I'm not needing to watercolor this. It's such a small space. So now if I was wanting to watercolor and I wanted the watercolor effect, I would absolutely use the Zig watercolor brush. You can't beat the brush tip of the watercolor brush that the Zig markers have. But for these small spaces, this was just an outstanding change from my original card, and I just love the control I had of using this fine tip writing pen that this had on the other end. You know, this has a writing on one end and a brush on the other. So this just worked out perfectly, and I will resort to this for itty-bitty spaces in the future on my cards, because this was just such, it was fast, and it was, I mean, I had so much more control. And of course, now that I'm sitting here talking while I'm writing, I'm probably going to mess up. but it's just, I really like the result. So, so I've done most of these. I've die cut them out. I just wanted to do a little bit to show you what I came up with and how I changed my end result. Okay, and then for the flowers, for this one, there's just one flower that shows the center. So you see the tip on the Zig? It is literally a paintbrush, and it is super fine. So that's what I love about the Zig markers. That is literally the only yellow in it. So, and then this tip on the Stampin' Write markers is like a brush. So you can go over, and this gives me the light color that I wanted that coordinates with the card, which is what I really wanted, because I wanted a light-dark contrast for my flowers. This is such an easy and simple filler flower. And again, it comes from the Floral Butterfly Accent set that is part of this large floral butterfly collection. But look how easy that is. It's so quick and easy. And then I took the Zig watercolor brush and I just did some flicks in here to give it some darkening. I did these bottom parts, and then I just kind of went with some of the artist drawn lines in here. I'm not doing any kind of blending. I'm just going along with the artist drawn lines and just doing a few of them just to give it a darker center. And that's all I was after, was a dark to light. You know, I want the tips light, center dark. And that was it. Then I lined up my dies and I ran it through my die cut machine, and here we are. They're all ready to go. And this one here, I actually used all zigs on, and there's a couple areas where I messed up, and I just snipped them off because we're going to snip them off anyways. So I've got those ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and just die cut this one real quick. I have a little tiny die cut machine that I use on the fly that I will pull out here real quick. It is a Gemini Mini. It is super quick, and when the die is little, it is lifesaver. It makes a ticking noise, I know, but these, it makes my life simple when it's a small die. And it does pretty intricate ones too. Sometimes I have to run it through a couple times, but out it comes. I mean, that's, can't beat that. So we got all those ready. And then for the fun part, the part I know all of you want to see, and that is for the clematis. All right, we are going to make clematises. These are the hero of the card. And we are going to stamp these guys. We've got two different ones. We've got our large clematis that we've done here, and our large one has two large flowers layered on top of each other. And then our single blue ones have just one. And then for our tiny clematises, the yellow ones, we've just got single small clematises with prills in the center. These have rock candy stamens. So I'm going to show you how to do each of them. Okay, so let's start with stamping out our small ones. I am stamping in the night sky. Make sure I get a good amount of ink. And actually, you probably should ink it this way. Put ink on your stamp, not stamp into your ink. You'll get a better amount of coverage. Okay. Then we will do one larger one. Those didn't come out as dark, but that's okay. This is just for demonstration purposes. Now I'm going to use chrome yellow for the small clematises. Okay, and then we are going to use leaf green for the leaves. And I'm going to show you how I color most of my flowers the easy way. All of these on this card were done the easy way. Okay. Now, I bought, get these inks out of the way. I bought these brushes on Amazon. They're makeup brushes, and I bought them because I liked that they had the lids, and I liked that they were in rainbow colors. I actually have, if I pull them out over here, got lots of them, and they're all different rainbow colors. And I love these things. So for I use the blue for all blues. I mean, and for these I'm using sky blue archival ink, and I'm just going to go a little bit in the center. There's no rocket science here. I'm trying to leave a little white around the outside edge. So I'm just trying to put some color in the center. That's it, folks. How easy is that? Then we're going to use the sunflower. And we're going to put a little color on them. I don't want too much on them, because I want their outlines to show. So just a little yellow on them. And then I'm going to color leaf green with leaf green. And I'm going to put a little extra down at the bottom. And just a little blend up, leaving the tip white. And that's it. Okay. Put those blender brushes away. Now you will line up your dies, of course. All the coordinating dies will line up with these guys. And you'll run this through your die cut machine. These do only fit one direction. So you'll fit those through, and you'll run those through your die cut machine. So those would all actually fit. I did them a little close, but they would all fit through one Gemini run. And then you're going to run them through your molding plate. But before that, actually, I almost skipped a step. After die cutting, I have a few little samples here to show you. After die cutting and before the mold, we're going to take and we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. And we're going to ink these edges. This makes a world of difference to the final flower. Okay. By doing this last little step, you will see such a difference to your flowers. And you can also put a little in the center if you want. Okay, same with the green. And I've got these labeled here, leaf green. Even though you stamped this in green, leaf green, and you colored in leaf green, because you use the sponge makeup applicators, the leaf green is so much lighter. But when you come in here with this, it is actually darker. So you can see that contrast, even though, now you can use a darker green too if you wanted even more contrast. But it actually doesn't have to be. You can use the same color if you're short on inks. feel free to use the same color. And then you actually don't have to do this one. And actually, I did it already. I really don't even have to do it. I did it already. But you don't have to do this one. On my original, I didn't. So I'll show that to you. On this one, I didn't do this one. I did do these, and I did do the leaves, but I did not do the yellow. So that just gives you another extra tip for making your flowers kind of pop. Is because look at these two here. This one definitely grabs you compared to this one. It definitely jumps off the page. And it's also going to give, you're giving yourself some, you're giving yourself that light source on the petal there. It's going to look like the sunlight is hitting there, and you're going to have a cast shadow on the tips of your petals and inside where your stamens are going to be. It's going to be darker. So that's just giving the effect of that rather than it all being the same color. So I hope that helps a little bit. Just makes them look a little more realistic. Okay, so then you put them in your mold. Most Heartfelt Creation flowers now come with a mold. They run through most die cut machines. They do not go through the Gemini machines. They have to be a machine that takes the larger dies that have the base. So I use mine through a Vagabond machine. It works through a Big Shot machine. I have heard it does work through the new Sizzix machine that just came out. I have already ran these through the machine. So this is what they look like. This is the first time I'm opening it. This is what they look like when they come out. Here's some leaves. So here's the ones we're going to work with. But on these specific ones, I put them face down. And then for this, I had put a plate on the bottom, a plate on the top, and it just ran through my machine. So that was quite simple. So let me get my flower shaping tools out. This is the best flower shaping kit on the market, the Deluxe Flower Shaping Kit. And I also do recommend the golf shaping tools. I'm actually only going to use them today for the paper piercing aspect of them, which is the tip on this end. But for flower shaping, the golf shaping groove end of it is also an amazing feature. Okay, let's see. So all you have to do to finish shaping these, which is the beauty of this, is press down in the center. So really you're gonna round this up, and that's gonna press those petals up to attention. It just brings them up to attention. That's really all you have to do. Now for these yellow ones, we're just going to add prills. And for these, I'm going to show you how to put the stamens in. In your kit, you have a paper piercing mat. So we're going to put a hole. And I'm going to put a quite large hole because we have a large area to put the hole in. And we're going to be putting quite a few stamens down in here. And that's the beauty of the golf tools is it starts really narrow and it gets thicker. So if you want a tiny hole, you can just pierce it a little bit. But if you want a larger hole, you can go farther up the barrel and get a nice symmetrical larger hole. So that's all we're doing there. All right, then I've got some rock candy stamen here that we're going to use. Let's see, how many of these do we want to put in here? A mess of them. That's what we want to do. We want to have a mess of them. Okay, let's see. We're going to be folding them. So let's see. There's one or two there that aren't rock candy stamens that got mixed in. So let's see. Try to get these all even. And now the best way to do this is to take a little tiny piece of beading wire. Make sure I'm in the frame well here. It's a little tiny piece. I believe this is 22 gauge. And you're going to wrap this around the center and you're going to twist. Okay. And then you're going to fold these up. And you're going to try to get these all about the same height. Okay. And then you're just going to feed these through. Let's see, which one of these do I want on my top? I guess it doesn't really matter. They both look really good. Okay, I'll put this one on top. Okay, so you're going to feed these through your hole. Oh, let's see, both of those wires aren't through the hole. Make sure they're both through the hole. And then those are going to pull down. And this is why you need a big hole in this situation. Okay. Remember, this is your hero. This is your hero flower. So this is the one that's going to grab the attention. So that's why I put so many. And I probably put more in this one. This is probably like your center flower. This one here, because I put so many in it. It's actually really pretty. I like the way it looks. Okay, so then you're going to take your glue gun, and I'm going to go ahead and start this, but I'm not going to pull it all the way. But I'm going to go ahead and get it started past the threads. So you see here, I've got it started past the threads there, so I don't have to fight with it. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to add some glue all the way around. And then I'm going to offset these petals as I pull them up. And I'm going to pull it up. And people, that's all there is to it. This flower making thing is not difficult. And actually, if you're getting started, get the clematis. It's one of the easiest flowers. Look how gorgeous that is. And that is all there is for the fancy flower. That's the main flower. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and move my mat. For our little yellow guys here, we're gonna bring our little guys in here. We're gonna use Go Mango Prills. Now these prills come from this set here, which is the Go Brights. You may be able to buy them individually. Some of the prills you can get individually on the website, and they're called Go Mango. It's actually Go Mango, M-A-N-G-O, like mango. But just search for that, and you might be able to get them individually. But if not, they're in the Bright Ideas pack. So for prills, it's easy peasy. You could do this two ways. You could use the Dry's Clear, or you can use the glue gun. Both ways work. Dry's Clear just takes a little longer to dry. I can show you both ways. So do a dollop of glue for your prills. Just leave it for a couple seconds. Dump it off. You got your prills. See that? And the same thing here. You can do your dollop of glue. Dump your prills. But on this situation, I would leave that for probably 10 minutes or so before I dump that. Just to make sure your glue is set, because that was a big dollop of glue. So, but if you want them to be faster, you can use the glue gun. The hardest thing with the glue gun is making sure you don't have the string. And just give it a couple seconds. Let that glue dry because it doesn't take very long for a glue gun. Dump and go. And you're done. And if you want to make sure, because I can see some of the glue there, I can go ahead and dump it some more and just make sure. Yeah, and that covered it up better. So yeah, so I can go ahead and try to dump that. And yeah, that covered it still pretty good. So then just, but I can't touch that right now. If I touch that, it's going to smear everywhere. So, but these guys are pretty good to go. But this one needs to sit a while. So, and then I can go ahead and put this back in my jar. There we go. So, now for, well, actually, let me get that back out because I'll go ahead and do the glitter real quick too. Okay, so using crystal clear glitter, which is my favorite glitter, let me show you real quick how to jazz these babies up even more. Now, I only use this on the big ones, so I will show you how I did this. I put glue on here. And then just go like this. Just get glue everywhere on your leaves. And then sprinkle this baby stuff on. And then sprinkle it off. When this dries, it will dry clear, and all you will see is that encrusted glitter on that blue background, and it will be absolutely stunning. So this one will be our hero on our card this afternoon. I hope you can see that really well. Okay, I will set that aside to dry, and we will go ahead and put all this gorgeousness back in the jar. Now again, that is crystal clear Paperlicious glitter. You can get that also on Heartfelt's website. For these guys, I used the, what I did is I used a little bit of Dry's Clear like this on them. And then I took some of the Art Glitter Crystal. It's a transparent, ultra fine transparent glitter, and I sprinkled it on the Dry's Clear glue like that. And then sprinkled it off. It gives a more subtle look, but just as pretty. And it of course it has to dry also, because the white is more, with the sponged dries quicker than the full effect of white. So it's gonna take a little while longer to dry, but that's how I did those. You could have used the sponge there too and used this glitter as well. Okay. All right, so let's get our flower out, get our stamens out of the way. We've got our leaves. grab our other flowers. Had these already made. And let's build our card. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is attach our butterfly, and we'll put her right in the center. When you're adding your flowers, it is perfectly normal to feel uncomfortable trying to figure out where are you going to put everything. I still get, you know, flustered as to where will it look right. You know, I know for sure I want her head to show. In the original, the head only shows a little bit, but it shows. And that was my favorite photo of the picture, is when I took a picture of it looking straight down to where you could see her head peeking out. That was my favorite photograph. Now I just noticed that none of these little yellow flowers have glitter on them. So I probably need to go ahead and add glitter to them. And I think I'm going to do it with a sponge method because it will dry quicker. Since we're on camera. So let me go ahead and get that glue back out, and I can fast forward through that when I'm editing. Okay, so when you're designing the card, you want to kind of sit your flowers out and get an idea of where you're going to want them. You know, where your spread is. Like I said, with my first one, it was tilted, so I kind of went at a diagonal. We're going to have to do that with this one too, because like I said, we want the face to show. So, you know, it's usually good to go with odd numbers. On this one, I actually did even numbers. It worked. I did go odd with the yellow. And let's see, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually have 5 flowers this time to work with, unless we decide to go with the other one, the other big one that I made. How is it looking? Oh, it's got a lot of glitter on it. Still drying though. Okay, so I kind of like him in the middle with the 2 down below and the 2 up above. Kind of clustered together. Because then you're going to have your leaves. And these are clematis leaves that come with the set. Let's see. So you kind of get an idea of where you'll want your leaves. I've got 5 of those also, it looks like. Oh, 6 actually. I mean, don't be afraid. You see it like this? This leaf looks so large. Don't be afraid to cut this off and stick it in farther if you don't like how far it's looking. You know, if you don't like the way it's looking. Like, I don't like the way that flower is covering her. So I will actually move that down probably. So anyways, so you just want to manipulate it a little bit and decide kind of where you're going with things. And then, you know, slowly but surely you'll add until you can't add anymore. So let's go ahead and just start and see what happens. But that's, I'm just trying to give you an idea of where we're going. Okay, so we're going to use our hot glue gun, and we're just going to go for it and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to put him, this is our big one. I'm going to make sure the face is showing, and I'm going to set it just a tiny bit off center. Just a tiny bit. Just so it doesn't look completely centered. But I want that face to show. And hold it just a couple seconds and make sure it's secured. Okay, now that baby's not going anywhere now. Okay, and that's what some people are scared of. They're scared of the fact that a glue gun, once it's down, baby, it's down. Okay. Alrighty. Do I want one down and then up, maybe? I think I want this one down a little bit. Alrighty. We're just praying. We're just praying it's gonna look good. You gotta remember, we're gonna have fillers, we're gonna have the yellow, we're gonna have the green, so I'm just kind of going at a diagonal. Trying to make sure they still all touch each other. I want the flower standing upright. I like that better like that. Okay. Like right here, I see there's a tiny little space there, so there's going to end up being something there, probably a yellow flower stuck in there somehow, or a small part of the oh, you know what? We'll probably end up having a little greenery coming out there. Okay. I'm gonna look at it straight on for a second. One thing that's a little difficult here is doing this on a video is I'm not looking at it completely straight on like I would normally be doing. Okay, I think I'm gonna go up with this one. Okay, so we got the blue ones down. Now let's think about leaves now. Let me think about leaves. I'm going to cut one of these leaves because I want to see one a little smaller. I really don't like how large these leaves are. So like, what if we took some of this off? See, what if it came out from where the body is? I mean, where the big flower is. Still shows the body at the bottom. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then maybe one could come out. I think he needs to be a little shorter. I don't know if I like this one up here by the head. I think I would probably like one of these better. See, these little guys we're going to end up taking apart. No, not the round one. Let's see. My hands have so much glue on them from doing those flowers or those, the gluing of the glue or the glitter. Let's see here. We are going to snip this side of this one so that I can have this way, because I want it to face him that way. What about that? I think I like that. Okay, I like this over here, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this. Actually, with this small one, I think I'm going to use some Dries Clear. Whoops. Better not do that over the image. I should have actually done this with hot glue. Okay. There. Okay. Let's see about getting some of this. Let's see. I love this branch. This branch has to be, well, actually both of them in this set. There's actually two different ones in this set, this same stamp set. I love adding this to my flowers because it's just so different. And you can take it apart. You can take it apart and you can add it. And I just love the way it looks. So delicate and, you know, let me look at it again. Totally looking different than the original. They always do, don't they? There. We'll put that one underneath. Put it a little bit underneath here. And we're going to put a little bit of leaf maybe right there. This one, let's see. Yeah. We can put just some of this here. That works, doesn't it? Okay. So let's go over to this other side and see what we need over here. We have 2 leaves left. Is this one attached? Nope. Let's put that one in there. Okay. And we can put, let's see, let's play around a little bit. See where we're gonna want these. She could go under there. A little bit under here maybe. That there. We could put a little more leaf under here maybe. Hmm. 2, 3, 4, and 5. You know what? I don't think I like this leaf. Well, actually, you know what? I can just darken it. Remember how I said you can always add ink, but you can't take it away? Ta-da! I didn't think it was dark enough. So, what did I do? I just added it in there. Okay. I need something in here, so maybe we can just Nope, too much. Put it on top of the leaf. It kind of, we could actually put a little piece there too. Mm-hmm. Okay, what about could put another yellow one there. I still wonder if I should put one in here. And too close to his face. And then the fifth one down here. I feel like I'm missing something in here. What about the other leaf? Like that one. This one's got more glitter on it. Maybe I like that better. Maybe that works. I think so. Okay. I'm going for it. I'm putting this sucker up here, but I'm putting it up on top of this clematis up here so that that one there shows and so that his face still shows. And because it is a glue gun, it will stick to this and stay strong. Okay, so this section here, I'm going to put these two. Okay, that one's already down. All right, so this one I'm going to stick in here. I don't want it to be too far out. I don't want it to distract too much. Okay, and then I'm going to stick, I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to stick this guy here. Ouch, that hurt. Let's stick this guy here. Turn around just a little bit before he glues all the way. Okay, then I'm going to put you right there. Oops. You know what? Nope, I'm not. I'm gonna get another one because that one had glue on him. Okay, and then is this one stuck? Let's see what else is stuck down here. Okay, that one. Okay, that one's not coming out. Okay. And this one, got some glue strands. Is gonna go up in here. Okay. And then, is this down? Nope. This one is gonna go up in here. You see what I mean by laying it down and then putting it out, gluing it all together. If you have a plan, work the plan. Okay. And then this one is going in here. And then this one, hopefully when I tilt this up and actually see it straight on, it's going to look okay. Anything coming out? Okay, I see a spot I want to fix. Let's see. I want to use this one. Okay. This is what I love about these little pieces, is because now I'm going to go through and I'm going to look to see, and I did this on my first one too. Where does it look like something's missing? Where's there a spot that just looks like, ugh, I need something? And like this, it looks like it just needs a little something in there. Okay, where else? Does it need anything else anywhere? It's actually not bad. What do you think? We got some little glue strings, which I can remove later. You open up the card and it says happy birthday. I hope her mother loves it. Thank you for stopping by today. I hope you've learned something and that you've enjoyed the process with me. If you've enjoyed this and you've hung out all this time, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you. Feel free to ring the bell. Leave me a message. Follow me on Instagram at Melanie Smith Stamps and over on Facebook. You can find me Fairy Stampland, Designs by Melanie Smith. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.